Every one of us is tasked with bringing the world to perfection. This week's Parsha reveals a secret to help us do just that. Parashah Vayeitzei sees the narrative shift away from Yitzchak and on to Yaakov. Perhaps in contrast to his father and grandfather, whose lives were spent inspiring others, Yaakov's life was about inspiring his family. Yaakov's life was filled with people, from a twin brother to loving parents to 4 wives, 13 children, and more, which makes it all the more interesting that the 2 most impactful moments of Yaakov's life came when he was alone. One in this week's Parsha and one next week. This week we read how Yaakov on his first night after fleeing home came upon a place and stopped there for the night. It is there that he had his famous dream of a ladder connecting the heavens and the earth with the angels going up and down. It is here that Hashem blesses Yaakov with the blessing of Avraham, confirming the birthright and the blessing he received from his father in last week's Parsha. Next week, we read about Yaakov preparing for a confrontation with his brother Esav, who the last time they were together swore to kill him. The night before that confrontation, Yaakov finds himself alone and wrestles with an angel all night long. Exactly what that means is a discussion for a different time, but it is then that he gets the name Yisroel, a name we carry with us to this very day. These 2 seminal moments in Yaakov's life both happened when he was alone. Why alone? What is so interesting about being alone? Many religions and cultures look highly upon being alone, whether it's in a monastery taking a vow of silence or the guru achieving enlightenment on top of a tall mountain. But that's not really the case for Judaism. Judaism is about community. It's about family. It's about the power of togetherness. We gather as a community to pray. We celebrate holidays with large gatherings, and we come together as a group to comfort each other at times of loss. But embedded in that togetherness is a seed of aloneness. Yes, we need a minyan to properly pray, but the core of that prayer is the silent Amidah, where each of us retreat into ourselves to have a private moment with Hashem. Many people, myself included, have the custom to drape their talit over their heads during the silent Amidah, effectively creating a small bubble of aloneness in the middle of the togetherness of a minyan. While Judaism places high value on togetherness, for one to truly connect with Hashem, we often need to create that bubble of aloneness. In days of old, creating that aloneness was easy. Go for a walk outside the city and you're suddenly very, very alone. But in today's world, aloneness is more elusive. We're surrounded by people everywhere we go. And even when you're able to carve out a moment away from everyone, we have the entire world in our pockets. Even in those private moments of the silent Amidah with our talit draped over our head, that one buzz of our Apple Watch pulls you out of that aloneness. Smartphones, the internet, social media, instant messaging have all made being alone not only difficult, but something an entire generation seems actually afraid of. That is such a tragedy, because as we see from Yaakov in this week's Parsha, it is those few moments of aloneness in a life otherwise filled with other people that can have the biggest and most lasting impact. So what do? How do we recapture that aloneness so that we can reinvigorate our relationship with Hashem? How do we create a moment in time without the distractions of social media and the constant buzzing on our wrists and in our pockets? I think you see where I'm going with this. Chaverim, my friends, this is the magic of Shabbat. One day a week where we're commanded to put our phones away, turn off all external distractions, focus on the here and now, focus on our relationships with Hashem, with our family, and with our community. So my challenge to each one of you this week is this. Give yourself one Shabbat, device-free. Turn off your phones, your tablets, and your laptops. Put your smart watches away and wear that watch you haven't worn in a long time. Turn the TVs and the radios off. You don't have to commit to doing it every week. You don't have to commit to keeping all aspects of Shabbat. But one Shabbat, device-free. Focus on what's physically in front of you and create that space for aloneness where you can have that Yaakov experience of connecting with Hashem in a way that may very well change your life forever. It certainly has for me. That is one thing we can learn from this week's Parsha. How will you step up this week to bring the world a little closer to perfection? Shabbat Shalom and Am Yisroel Chai.